All right, welcome back to Ron's Garage. I haven't posted in a little over a week, I think. And I didn't do anything to the car since then. I did put the hood back on it, put it back on the wheels on the ground, so it's got a little bit better stance, a little bit more of what the stance is going to look like. I don't think, at least in the foreseeable future, it's going to change the stance at all. I don't know if you can see that or not, but thinking about getting some spacers for those back wheels and bring them out just, half an inch or so, but that's another story. But what I did do today was, I don't know if any of y'all saw, but that cabinet was right there. And my toolbox was right there. I mean, it's not much of a toolbox, but it's a toolbox. It's not one of those great big, $5,000 monsters, but it holds my stuff. So when I put the cabinet over there and move the toolbox back over here, is in there, I'm going to put this stuff. The compressor, some big parts, like that column, which I still got to get rid of. This little box here, my ramps. Put that over here. So I have a little bit more room to work around the workbench, which that end over there, because all this stuff in the way, just ends up catching stuff. So, and then I brought this, my last little toolbox from the house, I brought it over. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. I'll find something. I'll probably put it way back in the corner over there. But yeah, I'm a mess right now. But they say you gotta make a mess to clean a mess. And that's kind of what I'm doing. So, that's that. Back up to speed on where I am with the car. The steering gear box is still not hooked up. It's bolted in, and I still have to mark the headers to where I need to dent them in a little bit for the steering shaft. But I've been waiting to try to rebuild the box. Chevs of the 40s wants like $130 for a rebuild kit. But we bought some bearings at work today, and I'm a manager for a bunch of industrial mechanics, so we deal with this stuff all the time. But I got to thinking, why don't I take that box off, take the bearings and the seals out, go to our bearing company, and just have them match them up? Because I think that's all it needs is bearings. If you go back and look in older videos, the input shaft on that steering box, just kind of rattled around. So, but I think all it needs is bearings and seals. And I can probably get bearings and seals for less than $20 for that steering box at our bearing company. So, as long as they're not stupid weird, then I should be able to do it, because they got everything. And I can walk in there, they can just match up what I got, and then I can rock and roll and put that, as Pat would say, and put that thing back together and bolt it up for good. So I do have the radiator out. Pretty sure that's not the right radiator for this car. So looking online, probably a couple $100 I can get an aluminum radiator that'll do up to 700 horsepower, they say. It's a Chinese radiator, I'm sure, but you know what? It'll do the job, and it's supposedly, looking at the measurements, it'll fit in my core support, which is where I need it to go, so I can put the long water pump on here, so I can have the brackets for the alternator that I need, and still have room for a fan. Might be a pusher fan from the front, but like it was, but I can still have room for a fan. I have the seats kind of mounted. I still got to tweak them a little bit to make them right, but they're in. They're where they're going to go. I still got to put the seat covers on, but I'm not ready to do that yet. Still trying to hook up an ignition switch. I got to get back to that. I got to move the shifter. I don't think you can see it down there. But I got the steering column where it's going to go. I got to finish mounting that. I got a lot of stuff I got to just finish. I don't care too much about what's in the back. I still got to flush out my fuel system before I try to start this thing again. That's on track. I'm going to get that done in the next couple weeks, and then clean out that fuel cell. It's a plastic fuel cell, so it's easy. And then put gas back in it. And then when I get the steering done, I still got to do the brakes all around. The front brakes are probably okay, but the back brakes, I got to replace everything, every little spring and clip, and the wheel cylinders, and the drums, and I got to replace the whole thing. So, and figuring out what model year that rear end is well, it's interesting, because I really can't. I've tried matching the numbers and they don't seem to match right, but you know what? It is what it is. I'll figure it out. So I got to see what I'm going to do with some of this stuff I'm starting to collect. You know, I got a brand new, pretty much set of headers over there for a small block Chevy. You know, Rocker Pat had it right a few weeks ago, or not a few weeks ago, but a while back. He posted a video about an online warehouse kind of thing where we all listed stuff we had, and we could swap it or sell it or whatever we wanted to do. We should all do that. He's right. Of course, we should also have our names up with a list of stuff we want, and so people can buy us stuff. I think that's what he said. So, but yeah, that is what it is, and that'll never happen. But it's fun to think about it, fun to dream about it. So, but right now it is almost 7 o'clock, and I haven't been home from work yet. So I'm gonna go get something to eat and go home. So you all have a good night. This is Tuesday night in Connecticut. I think it's the 26th, 27th, something like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.